Thanks for making time for us on Newsnight.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Good, thank you. And we immediately want to get a reaction to that particular report. 53% is what NCIC tell us today is Kenya's possibility of experiencing post-election violence. That number feels rather high, PS. What's your response?
Well, I think when it comes to hotspot mapping, it depends on what one is looking for. NCIC would, of course, put its thermometer on how people are speaking and obviously interpret that sometimes to mean to translate into some disharmony in the way people relate to each other. We also have hotspotting done by other security agencies. For example, we have our own as national government administrators. And
do they tally with what we saw today?
It's because we are looking at a different parameter. They are looking at hate speech and the way people are talking and interpreting that to mean everywhere where there will be hate speech will translate into some political discomfort. We do more than that. We look at, sometimes people talk because of the spur of the moment, but can it really translate into real violence? And for us, from the security point of view, then it advises on how do we deploy. And I can tell you for the last 1 year, we have really been doing this mapping so that we can deploy appropriately. As far as political incitement is concerned, I think I agree with what NCIC has said, but in as far as violence exposure is concerned, our deployment obviously will be slightly different. There are places where the political decibels are high, but traditionally does not translate into violence. It's not hygienic, but it doesn't translate into violence.
Okay. Speaking of political decibels being high, and of course there are certain places that you have also termed as hotspots, something else that I'd like to get your quick views on, the situation in Kerio Valley this evening. TS Daily, you listen to the locals and they are saying this, PS, and with the election just around the corner, they are saying they feel the government is either unwilling or completely unable to stop the violence in that area. This is a direct accusation, PS, level towards you and the government. What sort of response would you give tonight with those numbers that we've just looked at?
I think we must appreciate that we have a country that has traditional areas where elements of what they would call cattle rustling and crime related to pasture, when we have them. And let's also try to look at what has happened in the recent past. And it's very unfortunate what happened in Kerio Valley. I think there's no justification and there is no reason that we can give why firm action shouldn't be taken. But let's look at... I
hope you're going to tell us what action is taken, because even Parliament is very concerned.
It's concerned, and I think he just wanted so that we don't just look at one isolated incident and ignore the bigger picture around this country. Just the other day, we had problems in Laikipia. We have been having problems in Lamu. We have been having problems in even West Pokot itself before. We have been having problems in Marsabit. And you can see that those places have become calm. And to be fair to the process is to ask, why have those places become calm despite the security deployment being similar? Because when you look at Kerio Valley, we have actually deployed over 200 police officers.
Okay, and we'll come back to Karen with this discussion, but if you were to tell me in 30 seconds, what then has made Kerio Valley difficult for government to crack?
I don't think it's difficult to crack. It's when you're dealing with crime, it will come and go. And for example, now there was an incident of a revenge attack by people from Tiati because of action of the Marakwets against Pokots. And I think isolated, but we must ask ourselves why, because I won't allow you to go away without asking yourself, why has Laikipia gone quiet? Why has Marsabit gone quiet? Why has Lamu gone quiet? Why has West Pokot gone quiet?
We'll explore that on the other side.